Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show. Coming to you from sunny South Florida. We got Marcus Mack on this call, and we also got the big one, UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, Cameron Dinner with me on episode 23. Fellas, what's going on?
Not much. Back at it. How you doing over there, Marcus?
I'm all right. How y'all doing?
Yo, Marcus, man, we were supposed to do this a little bit earlier, man. What happened? I heard you was over there sazoning and adoboing up and curry and all types of spices.
I got tired of being in the house, man. I needed some outdoor action. We did a little grilling. You know, y'all see I'm not at the office today. I'm home.
What were you grilling?
Just burgers, hot dogs. I seasoned up some chicken, but I wanted the chicken to sit overnight. So tomorrow I'll be grilling some legs and thighs.
We actually had lamb today.
Oh, what?
Oh, it was so good. It was crazy.
Good. Y'all had good meat today.
Oh, did we? It was nutty. I was killing everything on that thing. It was crazy.
Today is peanut butter and jelly day over at
at the Dinning House.
Hey, we all know those days, sir.
That's a fact. I have plenty of those days.
So, Cam, how you been holding up, man? How you been holding up since the last episode?
We're good, man. We're just staying strong, trying to keep the mind going here. You know, read books, play cards. You know, do whatever you can around the house. You know, lay out. Just try to do different things. I washed the car the other day.
I actually did. I did a dance with my daughter. We did that Drake. What is it called? Tootsie slide or whatever.
Yeah, the slide.
I'm so out of shape, dude. I was huffing and puffing just doing that. It's crazy.
There's a lot of movement in that one. So I mean, if you can't get that one down, I mean, you're really.
I just look awful. It's so bad. Like my membership is not working right now. Like I mean, everything. Like Anytime Fitness is just getting my money every month right now.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Good on Drake. You know, he's sort of just using the system to his advantage. He's pretty smart because he knows everyone's at the house and he knows how popular these challenges and these dances are. So he just put this out. I bet this was effortless for him. Now eyes are on him now with this song.
So listen, so we were bored. So we were watching as we were doing it, you know, over and over and over again. And we were watching the video. I pulled up on the comment section just to see what some people were talking about. And some of the comments are just hilarious because people are sitting there saying, you know, day 20 and Drake still hasn't found me in his house. Or like, I thought Drake's house was a mall. Or, you know, celebrities say stay home when their house looks like this.
Right, yeah. I did see that one out there. Yeah. Make sure everyone stay home. We're in this. I saw one that said, we're in this boat together. And it says like their boat, and it shows a yacht, and it says my boat, and it's just a canoe, and this guy's.
But seriously, I mean, in no actuality, if you think about it, yeah, I mean, it's easy when you have that type of, you know, success, and hats off to them because they've earned it. But it's easy for them to say stuff like that, you know, when you don't have that, you know, when you could put 6 of my cribs into Drake's homes, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot.
Right. When the grass is greener, you're not necessarily worried about, you know, the whole lawn getting fed. So some people have it better than others. And, you know, we are in this together, but some people just have it better. And that's just the way it works, man.
Drake letting off fireworks at his house like they won the championship or like it's a game-winning walk-off home run or something at a stadium.
Yeah, right.
It's dope, though. It's dope. Marcus Mack is dope. I applaud it. Hats off to him. It's dope. I was able to have some fun with my daughter and my wife and my son. It was hilarious.
I didn't see it. Y'all definitely got to send that to me.
We're gonna have to get.
Where the hell have you been?
Yeah. I just got to put on it like last night, so I thought I was a little late. It's just another one of those little dance move challenges. You'll get.
I knew it was gonna be a hit as soon as I heard it, Cam.
Oh, it is definitely a hit. It's catchy, but he'll probably get tagged in some sort of IG, Instagram story. Asking you to do it, and you'll end up posting it, something like that. So you'll see it pop up soon.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, we just been chilling. We haven't been doing much. As for sports, you know, there's some stuff that went on that we're gonna discuss. I know Cam, you and I still have to do the 5 teams over under regular season wins.
Yeah.
Those teams are gonna be the Atlanta Falcons. That's what we're gonna be covering. We're gonna be covering the Buffalo Bills. the Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Houston Texans.
Yep, another round. I'm excited to find out what you think about those over/under.
So I guess with the over/unders, let's start off with the Atlanta Falcons, and I'll let you elaborate. Since I took the lead last time, I'll let you elaborate, and then I'll add on to that.
Yeah, the Falcons over/under is at 7.5 this year. They obviously had we all know, not a good year in 2019. They started out, what was it, 0-6, 0-7, something like that. They were trying very hard to get some wins down the stretch. Just off the top of my head, I think they won 3 games towards the end of the year, so sort of ruined their draft stock towards the end. But I like them. They're always in a decent position because of the stock that Matt Ryan holds, even this late in his career. See him, you got to come back after that devastating 28-3 meltdown against the Patriots. We still haven't seen him come back from that as strong as he can. So let's hope that this is the year. I know they had a change of offensive staff there. They still have, what's his name, as the head coach.
Quinn, right?
Yeah, Dan Quinn or whatever his name is. So we'll see how that works. But they're in a tough division, so I don't think.
So over or under?
Under. Just because of the division they're in. I mean, because of this, you're going to see the Saints and the Bucs dominate this year.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I have to say under as well. I mean, I think they haven't been the same football team since they lost the Super Bowl in a drastic fashion to the New England Patriots. Going up, you're up 28-3. There's in the third quarter. There's no reason for you to lose that game. They haven't been the same team.
Issue, I think, because of that. I think that's with a hump. It's hard to get over that.
They haven't been the same team since. It's been a disaster since. They've only been an offensive team with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Calvin Ridley sort of even went to waste last year, and now they dropped Vontae Freeman. So the whole offense is. I mean, they don't have Austin Hooper again. That was the one consistent thing in their offense this past year, I feel like.
I mean, they do pick up Gurley. Gurley's a nice addition. I think Gurley's better than Freeman, but still, on the defensive side of the ball, you got too many problems. So I think they go under 7.5 wins. Our second team is going to be the front runners, quote unquote, of the AFC East, and that is going to be the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills over under is 9. What do you have in camp?
The blood is in the water. All those 3 teams, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills, they're all sort of eyeing the throne right now that the seats sort of been vacated, per se. So I'm excited to see. This is my front runner for this division just because of the success they've had the last 2 years, making it to the postseason after a long time. You said, what was that, 9.5?
9, just 9.
Just 9? I think they win 9. I think they land on that number. So it's tough for me to pick essentially an over-under. I guess that means I'm under. But that's where I have them at, because although I think they're a good team, I think they're going to win that division at 9 or 10 wins. I think that gets it done this year in that division.
I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say under just because I think my New York Jets are going to do a better job of playing this year. I had a conversation off topic that a client of mine or a buddy of mine was sitting there saying, he thinks that, we need to get certain players and da-da-da. And I told him I wouldn't even have a problem of trading Jamal Adams to get picks, just because if you really think about it, Cam, other than Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, and Earl Thomas, name me big-time quality safeties that you win Super Bowls with.
Right. And Jamal Adams is a stud. He's one of the best, if not the best, free safety in the league.
Absolutely.
Certainly the hardest hitter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's definitely a position that you don't need to be exceptional.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot of help back there. You don't need to have the best safety in the game. I know that sounds weird. You want to, obviously, but if you can, obviously you want to keep a guy like Jamal Adams. He's fiery. But if they're offering you what I thought I saw was 2 first-round picks, was that right?
I take it all day long. I mean, we're getting off the topic of the Buffalo Bills, but I mean,
how do you know when did Jamal Adams was drafted? Was he originally from the Jets?
Yeah, he got drafted by the Jets. There was only 5 players selected before him, if I'm not mistaken, in the draft. I forget what year it was. I'm gonna sit there and probably say it was 3 years ago. This is probably year 4 for him.
2017. So this will be his third year in the league. So he is still young. He is still a great player. So you want to normally hang on to a guy like that who shows that much promise. But again, if you draft him in the first round, get 2 good years out of him, and then trade him or get rid of him for 2 first-round picks, I mean, the math is there. It makes sense.
Well, I'm going to apologize because I did get off topic with the Buffalo Bills. We were talking about the Buffalo Bills. It sounded like we ended up talking about the New York Jets. But the Bills, for me, they end up going under. I think the Jets and the Dolphins end up doing a better job in that division. And also New England end up doing a better job. I think everybody's just going to end up beating each other up. I don't think they cover the 9. It's still a possibility that they end up becoming a wild card team just because Sean McDermott has done such a great job up there in Buffalo. So without question, I think they end up under 9, but they still end up making the playoff as a wild card team.
Yeah, the Bills, if they don't win the division, they have wild card written all over them. They're a wild card kind of team.
All right, so let's get to. Did you pick? You picked under as well? No.
I picked under. I mean, I picked 9 flat, but I don't know.
So let's get to America's team. I know you hate that tag on them, and we're gonna discuss Jerry Jones and his Dallas Cowboys. Now, Cam, I don't know if you saw this earlier today, but my former head coach, who I love to death, Rex Ryan, stated on Get Up this morning that he felt like the Dallas Cowboys had made a huge mistake in paying Amari Cooper before paying Dak Prescott. Now, the Dallas Cowboys regular season wins are at 9.5.
And he also called him a turd.
He did call him. He did apologize for calling him a turd, so I didn't want to bring that back up because he did apologize, and he's hoping that Amari would accept his apology.
You got to mention it, though. You got to mention it.
Yeah, you got to mention it. But the Cowboys are 9.5 over/under on wins and losses. I'm going to go under.
9.5. Boy, I don't know. I mean, you got to – at first, we don't know the schedules. Remember, we're going into this sort of blind. So what we know about the Cowboys is they always end up with anywhere from 7 to 11 wins. They always float in there on a given year. So you say 9.5. I would have to take a deeper look just based off of their division, which is the first thing you look at. The Giants, I think, are going to be better than they were last year. The Redskins are on an upswing with all the changes they have made.
Ron Vera.
Right, with their coaching staff and also player personnel. They have a good draft pick this year, so we'll have to see about that. I give them under 9.5, but I'm the same as the Bills. I think they're going to land at like 9. I think it might be just under. They're 9 or 10 wins I give the Cowboys, but I'll take under.
I mean, Rex Ryan went in this morning. He had great points that Amari Cooper disappears, doesn't play on the road. He's not a big-time wide receiver, really doesn't run all his routes. I didn't hear you.
He's very hot and cold.
Oh, yeah, very hot and cold. Yes, agreed. So, I mean, Ryan had a lot of good points. I think he went a little bit overboard by calling him a turd. So that's why he apologized. But, I mean, a lot of the points he did make. And you know what? It does look like Jerry Jones is signing everybody else other than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, right. He's really taking his time on that one. I guess that's why he put the tag on him.
Yeah. And then we got our next team, the Baltimore Ravens, who were the number 1 team in the AFC, and their over/under on wins is 11.5.
Ooh, the Baltimore Ravens at 11.5.
I'm going to go under.
You're going under there? Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't have the element of surprise anymore. They sort of took the league by storm, and even when they had people, not surprised, they still took advantage and did what they need to do. So it's tough for me to go against that logic, but I think I need to stick with that. I think people are going to be ready for what they have to bring this year. I think they're still going to be extremely good, but I give them 10 or 11 wins.
I mean, I've seen a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw it on social media. I saw AB and Hollywood Brown and Lamar Jackson all training down here. I really do hope that the Baltimore Ravens do not sign Antonio Brown. I mean, go about what you're going about. Don't worry about that. Let all that be somewhere else. Just keep playing good football and trying to win that Super Bowl like Baltimore wants to win.
That'd be something though, huh? A good set of tight ends, Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown. Man, that'd be something. And Mark Ingram, that'd be quite a team. But man, yeah, I don't know. You got to stay away from that kind of not bad press, but those players with that kind of
distraction.
Exactly, nailed it.
It's distraction. So both of us have the under on that as well. And then we got the last one. And we got the Houston Texans, who are led by Deshaun Watson, coached by Bill O'Brien. And their over-under is 8. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say that they're going to go over 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking the over as well. And it's, again, you just based off of their opponents. I think their division is an up for grabs division. And that's why I think they make just over 8 wins on the year. So I'll take the over on the 8. But the ever incompetent Bill O'Brien. I've backed him for a long time. Hopefully he can start regaining some trust, but we'll see if the moves he made this year, the lack of moves, we'll see what that has the effect on it of this year's outlook.
I mean, I think Bill O'Brien is, he's a Bill Belichick disciple, brings a lot of great qualities over from New England with him. I think he's done a great job. They've won that division multiple times already. I mean, granted, they've only had 2 playoff wins, but some of that has to do with key players like J.J. Watt getting hurt or whatever it may be. I think the division is up for grabs again. Jacksonville, I don't see doing anything. Maybe Tennessee gives them a fight, but Indianapolis isn't going to do anything either, in my opinion. So I think Deshaun Watson and them boys down in Houston, they get another division championship, and then anything can happen in the playoffs. Anything can happen. So
this is another team like the Bills, that just screams wild card team. That they just normally fit or slot right into that area. But for as far as Bill O'Brien's concerned, I don't mind. You mentioned him being a Belichick disciple, so he does whatever's best for the team. I don't mind getting rid of your best player, but you got to get more out of it. Saw.
We're gonna get into that. Don't give it up too quick. We're gonna get into that. But we got to remember. Listen, this is a totally different story. If Houston just finishes the job in KC, they were up 21-0.
Yeah, you're right. It does come down to execution. Wins keeps everyone quiet. So I understand everything about it, but we'll see the cards, as they say. Once we see the cards laid out, we'll find out what exactly it was.
Absolutely. So Marcus Mack, I'm gonna get into the promo, and you got the headlines ready after the promo, correct?
Definitely.
All right, so no problem. So this part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or a natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Cold Springs. So, Marcus Mack, we got a couple of EAC headlines to discuss on this Effort Friday episode. And for all you guys listening and watching on YouTube, Effort Friday is basically a F-It Friday. We don't want to curse. We're trying our best not to curse. I know it's extremely difficult for all of us human beings over here, but we do our best. So what's the first topic on Effort Friday, Mark Smack?
We're stuck in the house. We want to curse. We want to scream and curse.
There's much to curse about, but we're holding it together.
Yeah. Okay. So our 3 headlines today is Texans OBrien on trade. Hopkins wants a raise.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yeah, perfect. We led right into this discussion, Cameron. I mean, you can elaborate first, and then I'll go afterwards. So go ahead.
There's hold on. There's 3 headlines. There's 3 headlines, but this particular headline I would like to pull up for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Got you right now. Okay.
Just while you're pulling that up, let's see what you got here. Oh yeah.
So anyway, anybody can read if you like. I was gonna read it down.
We're moving on up in the world.
This is pretty legitimate for all the people that are listening and not watching. We're excelling.
We're reading right now. What we're reading right now is written by Sarah Barshop.
Oh, we're moving up in the world.
Yeah. He in Houston, in his first public comments since trading DeAndre Hopkins, Houston Texans head coach, general manager Bill O'Brien cited the wide receiver's desire for a raise.
So go ahead, Cam. Go ahead, take the lead on that.
Yeah, Cam.
So of course, it always comes down to money. This is a business, and it's just interesting to see that the details are finally coming out this this late. After it was all said and done, after the move was made. So, for me, if that's what it comes down to, if it comes down to money, then I can't fault Bill O'Brien, who's been giving this administrative responsibility, pretty much the GM duties, for him to ship the player off and not wanting to foot the tab. He is the best receiver in the NFL, but if we know anything about the draft and everything, with these skill positions, wide receiver are more of a dime a dozen. It's easier to find guys to put it as a wide receiver. But my argument, Emilio, is it's not about making the move. It's about getting something worthy enough out of it. It's about making the move make sense. We've seen Bill O'Brien, his tenure, get rid of DeAndre Hopkins and Jeremy Clowney, and he has not received one first-round pick for those two all-star players. And John Gruden, on the other hand, who in Oakland in his short time, he's gotten rid of Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, and he's gotten multiple first-round picks for those two guys.
Okay, now I'll explain to you why this happened. I'll explain to you why this happens. This is definitely 100% a money move. I had the same problem for me a couple years back with the New York Jets. We had all-world cornerback Darrelle Revis, who completely and utterly outplayed his contract, and he wanted a new contract with 3 years left on his deal. The Jets and them were at an impasse. They finally ended up coming into an agreement. They ended up giving Darrelle Revis a Band-Aid contract temporarily, which made him the highest-paid cornerback in the league. This is exactly what DeAndre Hopkins was doing. DeAndre Hopkins had 3 years left on the deal. He wanted a new deal, and Bill O'Brien put his foot down as the general manager and the head coach with the blessing from ownership and told him, hey, ship him out. Now, the return on the investment, I get. They didn't get, in my opinion, in your opinion, enough back coming forward. But the way they feel is they feel like we're getting relief financially. We're also getting picks. We're getting a really, really hungry running back, and that's the quote from Bill O'Brien in the story, Marcus Mack, a very, very hungry running back in David Johnson. So between getting the second-round pick, how much that comes financially, the other picks that they received, and the player, Bill O'Brien felt that he was happy with that return and the freedom of the money that he's receiving from not paying DeAndre Hopkins. They also ended up signing Randall Cobb. So they added more. The ownership group sat there and they said, and they released a statement about how they're thinking more about the team, and they're emphatic on it because Bill O'Brien said, we are focused on capital T, capital E, capital A, capital M. That's it.
I respect that, and I can understand it a little bit more now that you say that. Obviously, if David Johnson wasn't involved in the trade, they would have received probably a first-round pick. So I know that has a lot to go into it. And if he's hungry as Bill O'Brien says he is, obviously he's an older back. He is a little injury-prone, but I know he wants to get back to where he was at one point, the best running back in the NFL just 3 or 4 years ago. So if he's got an ultimate plan and he's team first, then I'm all for it. But, we'll have to see how it comes out because as of right now, their number one wide receiver is a guy named Will Fuller who can not even make it on the field for more than 10 games a season at this point.
I mean, he's definitely injury prone, for sure. I agree with you 1,000%. But when the representatives for DeAndre Hopkins go to Bill O'Brien and they tell Bill O'Brien, we want to raise
I get it. Yeah. For money, I get it. They got to eye a wide receiver, though, in the draft. They have to.
Now, for me personally, like I said, I've been through this once already. I've seen this play out. Unless you give DeAndre Hopkins a Band-Aid deal where you just pay him this year and next year up front a lot of money, and you're not going to do anything else long-term because you got to pay Deshaun Watson, and you can't interrupt that money and still be able to focus on what you can do collectively as a team, then it's understandable. But Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans didn't think of DeAndre Hopkins in that way. They still think that they can compete and win without him, whereas into the Jets said, we need Revis because he's the best cornerback on the planet. So bring him in. We'll give him the money that he wants. We'll make it short-term. It'll just be a real easy deal. It won't be the long-term deal he's seeking, but we'll keep him happy temporarily. The Texans didn't want to do that, so they shipped him out.
Listen, I get it, and it works. This kind of formula, it does work, but you have to have guys like Deshaun Watson that make it work. So they have a guy like that. I mean, you got to look at teams like Kansas City and Baltimore who are working with they don't really have star wide receivers. I mean, besides Tyreek Hill, name a stud wide receiver in Kansas City.
No, there's not really many. There's not really many.
Right, so it can work. But Deshaun Watson's just going to be definitely at his best now that he doesn't have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins.
Great point. Now, Marcus Mack, you want to get into the next headline? You could just say Giannis's first name. I'll say his last name. Don't worry about it, okay, Marcus Mack?
Well, I definitely want to get into this one first. Because while DeAndre Hopkins is looking for a raise in Houston with the NFL, over in Utah, the NBA is undergoing a lot of cutbacks because of this coronavirus. So let's do that one first.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. So this is the first sports team to actually acknowledge that they are making layoffs or people are taking reduced salaries or pay cuts to the organization, Utah Jazz. Their former owner, Larry H. Miller, who passed away. The company's still being ran by family members. And they basically have just come out and said that they're literally furloughing a bunch of people, firing a bunch of people, reducing the pay and salaries of a bunch of people just because they have to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, everyone's getting hurt by this. And, not a lot of markets are safe at this point. So even the NBA, as prestigious of a sporting organization as that, can experience something like this to where they would need to make certain moves, from a business standpoint that makes sense financially.
Yeah, I think from a business standpoint, you really get a chance to see what companies have leverage. And this is going from your local small businesses to something as big as the NBA and every function that's within the NBA. And
it also depends on the market too.
Yeah,
not to be out there. I mean, teams in like Los Angeles and New York and Miami, this probably isn't an issue right now. They're probably not looking to lay over, simple small jobs in arenas and things like that.
Because the truth is, if you really think about it, the NBA has a lot of billionaires as owners, but they don't have. Not everyone's a billionaire that owns a team. Some of the teams are purchased through just investment groups, and some of the guys that own the team are multi-millionaires. They're not billionaires.
Right. So a lot of them have just all their money in the team, and that's their money. That's just their asset.
Correct. I remember. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember there was when Paul Millsap used to play on the Utah Jazz back in the days. The Utah Jazz actually had to take out a loan from the bank because in order to pay to keep Paul Millsap on the team, they needed to borrow money from one of their bank sponsors to do it because they just didn't have the funds. So
they sent the guy to Wells Fargo to open up a
actually
line
called
of credit.
Zion. It's called Zion Bank. Actually, that's the name of the
bank. Really?
Yeah, it's called Zion Bank. But this is very unfortunate. I mean, this is happening all over. I got some news today about how there's certain SEC schools and certain Big 10 schools and Big 12 schools. They're going to start deciding, to cut funding and spending on certain things just because they can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. I'm surprised it hasn't happened much earlier than this.
The reason why it hasn't happened yet, Cameron, just to brief you on it, is because they're still going off last year's numbers. You understand?
That makes sense.
So they're still going off last year's numbers, so that's why it hasn't happened. But if it gets any longer, or if it gets to a point where the season is the football season won't be played, trust me, there's going to be a ton of programs cut completely.
Yeah,
and
we have
just to add to that, the Utah Jazz is owned by a company called the Larry H. Miller Group, which that whole company is taking a hit right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're not billionaires; they're multi-millionaires, but they have a lot of companies that are underneath them, and they have to support them. And at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to stay to survive. It's very unfortunate.
That company, it's coming from the top. Like it's not like you got a team like the LA Lakers, where they can pretty much survive on their own because they have a bunch of other things working except for just stadium seats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%. What's the last headline that we got to get into, Marcus Mack?
Last headline is Giannis not playing basketball. He has no access to a hoop.
Now,
or Giannis.
Yeah, poor baby.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more about efficiency and sharpness. If the NBA season ends up being played, which in my opinion, I think the NBA season is done.
You see what they wanted to do?
Tell that to Jesus.
What, move it to Vegas?
They wanted to clean up a cruise ship, sanitize the hell out of it, and put all the teams on all the playoff teams on the cruise ship.
We don't want to hear that. Tell that to Jesus Shuttlesworth. He would have been shooting in a milk.
That's a great analogy, Marcus Smack. Great analogy.
For real.
But
So Giannis Antetokounmpo does not have access to a basketball gym in his home, unlike some other basketball players that do. Chris Middleton hasn't neither. So basically, Giannis is just staying fit. Cam and Marcus Mack just doing calisthenics, jump roping, getting stuff done around the house and things like that. Doing some treadmill work and just dribbling the basketball outside his house. But he's basically saying he hasn't played no basketball whatsoever. And to me, put a freaking hoop on a tree and or put a box on the tree and make it happen. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Yeah, there's got to be a different solution, but we'll see. I mean, you got to do what you got to do at some point.
Marcus Mack, you and I both know. You get that milk crate, you put the milk crate on the light pole.
Yeah, exactly.
And you play with whatever you can play with. It is what it is.
Socks in the hamper basket, paper in the
Kobe.
Kobe. Just get it in however you can get it in.
Get it in however you can get it in. Now, listen.
I'm gonna add an impromptu headline here. Do you see what Alabama, what they're going through right now?
What?
It says Alabama's use of Apple Watches to track football players sets off rule debate. Apparently, the team and Nick Saban got their players Apple Watches so they can monitor where their players are during this coronavirus outbreak.
What?
And apparently it's setting off all kinds of rules. And
he's big brothering his players?
So this is what
he probably calls it some sort of accountability tracker or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's gotta break some rules. Go
on Twitter for the EAC show and at Edward Snowden in Russia and tell Edwin Snowden that they're big brothering the Alabama Crimson Tide football players right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Chris Middleton, he also said that, since practice facilities is closed down, he doesn't have any access to a basketball goal unless he goes to one of his neighbor's house and shoot outside. So it's not just affecting Antetokounmpo and it's affecting a lot of other players as well. But I'm quite sure there's something you can do to keep yourself sharp.
That's crazy. That's nutty.
Shooters got to keep sharp. Got to keep themselves sharp shooters.
No, of course. Without question. But I mean, there's no excuse. You get it done any way you can. Like, I'm telling you the truth. Go play. Go to your neighbor's house that does have one and shoot there.
For all of the followers that follow us on the EAC show on IG, I'm quite sure they've seen Anasia kick the soccer ball in the garbage can. Did you catch that? Yeah, from like a block away.
So for you guys that are not watching on YouTube and listening, my daughter, she's 15 years old. My daughter, she goes to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. So shout out to them, a little plug to them. So Asia's here because obviously she's not able to attend school because of the whole coronavirus thing. And we were outside in the front yard, and I wanted to challenge her and basically take a soccer kick into a garbage can that was probably like 30 yards away. And on the IG page for the show, after maybe like 60 tries, her sneakers like all chipped up because she's doing it on concrete and not grass. And literally, she gets it in the garbage can, but her brother is such a hater, and he's like, for the 5th time, we're doing this, and it goes in, and he goes from the biggest hater to the biggest fan in the world, screaming.
He jumped on the bandwagon.
He jumped on the bandwagon so quick. So
that's because he knows he can't do it.
I knew she could make it. It just took her forever.
It would take me twice as long, I'm sure, at least. So shouts out the neighborhood top 10 play from Anasia Cologne. So we appreciate that in this dark time of no sports.
Absolutely. So, guys, I want you guys to enjoy the weekend. Friday episode is going to be a little bit shorter than usual because Marcus Mack and myself and Cameron have to do a review that we're going to post on the IG page for the EAC show. It's going to be on Khabib Nurmagomedov. Damn, I'm mad I messed up his last name. Some knockouts that he has in MMA and the UFC.
Yes, it is how you say his name.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a little brief joint that we're gonna put up on IG. So we appreciate you guys checking out episode 23. Make sure you check us out episode 24. Like, subscribe, comment on all social media platforms and on YouTube. Hit the little icon button so you can stay notified on when the next episodes are coming up. We appreciate you. We'll check out episode 24. Marcus, Matt, Cameron, appreciate you guys. Enjoy the weekend.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC show.